your engine!
Okay, welcome back, race fans, to Right Rear Racing. Tonight, we're going to bring you the Regal Promotions Esports Dirt Series, or the Dirt Late Model Series, Round 1, Shamrock 100 here at Cedar Lake. Tonight, I'm going to be your host, and we also have another co-host with us from the Buckeye Racing Network, Tyler. And how are you doing tonight, Tyler?
I am doing fabulous tonight, Donnie. Happy to be here. Happy to be along for the ride for the first round of the super late models here, like you said, at the Cedar Lake Speedway. Got some money on the line tonight.
Yes, we do, man. It's $100 to take up for the winner. And looks like we're finishing up our hot laps tonight. And while we're finishing up hot laps, Tyler, you want to go ahead and put in your top 3 picks for tonight's race?
Oh, man, there's a lot of good names out here. I mean, as I loaded in, I don't see a lot of these drivers too much. We don't get to, the Buckeye Racing Network doesn't get to do a lot of these super late model events, but we got Evan C. in the field tonight. James Murphy, I like that as a pick as well. And maybe even Jesse Interkin, if I'm pronouncing that right. Those 3 would be the drivers I'm going to be keeping my eye on as we progress through the night.
And those are your 3 drivers. My 3 drivers are going to be Connor New. I'm going to also keep eye out on Ty Dickinson. And another name that kind of sticks out to me is, you already said it, so I can't piggyback off you and say James Murphy, but Dylan Yeager and the 48 machine should be a good one too. And we're starting our hot laps now. Those are going to be my top 3 picks as well. Or I say hot laps qualifying. And it's going to be Brandon Barnhart going out on the track first in the 101 as he's getting his speed on the outside there. And it looks like he hit that outside wall right at the line. We're going to go with Evan Say. As he goes.
Absolutely, yeah.
Go ahead, Tyler.
I was just going to say, a host of drivers out on the racetrack. Brandon Giswhite, Daryl Bass, Jason Martin, Bryce Dickinson out there, Ty Dickinson as well.
And this isn't an easy field to win on with how stacked it is. As we go and watch Ty Dickinson in the 67 for his qualifying. With his first lap, he got a 13.54. His second lap, he's going to get a 13.70. And as he tries to go off to turn 1 there and flips it after his qualifying is over with.
Yeah, James Murphy, the 65 machine's getting his car wound up around the outside of 1 and 2, shooting down the back straightaway for the first time and taking the low side down here in 3 and 4. See what he's able to do on lap number 1. Lap 1 for James Murphy is going to be waiting for timing to update, 13.24 for James. It's going to run the bottom here again in 3 and 4. To the stripe. Lap 2 was he able to improve there and does a little bit to a 13.18 up to 7th quick, Donnie.
And as soon as you said 7th quick, Matthew Shelby in the 46 got it 13.14 and bumped him down just a little bit. And we're going to go with James Rooney here in the 27 as he goes in turn number 3, comes out of turn 4. I believe that's going to be his first lap. With his first lap is going to be a 13.34. He lost it there a little bit, enter turn 1, and he's going pretty slow down the back straightaway and goes down low in turns 3. We have 2 more drivers that haven't qualified yet, and that's going to be Mason Setting and Rutherford. As we go look at Mason Setting, he's hit a 13.58 on his first lap. He's coming in turn 3 down low, and he's coming out turn 4 this time around. He's going to get, waiting on the timing there, it looks like it's going to be the same time of a 13.58, and that's going to conclude our qualifying for tonight. And Dylan ended up getting your quick time for qualifying. And Tyler, you want to go ahead and take over your lineup for heat race number 1?
Absolutely, I'd love to. On the front row of our first heat of the night, going to be James Murphy and Frankie Thompson. Row number 2 is going to be Jesse Enterkin and Dylan Yeager. Row 3 is going to be Dalston Rutherford and Tyler Bowman. Row 4 is going to be Ty Dickinson in that 67 machine.
And just to let the viewers know, it's a top 4 invert for your heat races. Everyone's going to go and make the main event tonight. And I believe you said that we had 23 drivers signed up for tonight. Is that correct, Tyler?
I had 23 drivers signed up tonight. Looks like 21 are in the session, so a couple unfortunately unable to sign in, make it here tonight. But I know these drivers that are here are locked in, ready to go. Money's on the line, and we have a long feature to put on a great show for you fans at home.
And as they're coming out turn 4 this time around, they're getting the white flag, or I'm sorry, the rolled up green flag, as they're going to go green flag racing next time around. In this heat race, as they go in turn 1 on our pace laps here, who do you have winning the heat race here?
Man, it'd be hard. James Murphy right on the front row in that 65 machine, but got to keep an eye out for Thompson and anybody in the top 4, I'm going to say here, Donnie.
And it's going to be a good one as the track's setting up. And we're green flag racing for your right rear racing heat race number 1. James Murphy takes a huge advantage there, starting on this front, and leads us down the back straightaway, down low in turn 3. As you come out turn number 4, James Murphy's going to lead lap number 1. And I believe that's Jesse in that 25 machine, hot on his heels, and Jesse's going to look up high in turn 3.
Absolutely. We had 3 wide for third there. Dalston Rutherford, Dylan Yeager, Frankie Thompson. There's a little contact there between those 3. They gather it back in and continue working down the back straightaway into turn 3. Thompson moves into third. Rutherford trying to hold on to fourth, and they're almost 4 wide as they get down into turn 1 and 2 this time.
And they're battling it out back there on the back positions, as everyone's going to make it. This time around, we're halfway through it. Still James Murphy leading the race. I believe Jesse's right there with him, but we're watching the back of the field. As Tyler mentioned, these guys are racing it pretty hard back here, 3 to 4 wide.
Absolutely, Donnie. We got a battle for the lead. Enterkin's looking down low on James Murphy. Still down there into 3. Big slide job across the nose of James, but James with a good crossover out of 4 is going to retain the lead. Just 2 to go.
Well, 2 to go. This is heating up here as 25 of Jesse looks down low in turns 3. He's going to do a slide job here. Comes a crossover by James Murphy as they're getting the white flag going in turn number 1. The 65 of James Murphy does a slide job in turn 1 with Jesse doing a crossover going up turn 3 for the last time. Jesse is holding on and taking the checker flag for heat race number 1, followed by James Murphy, with Frankie rounding out your top 3. Man, Tyler, if this is a show of what's going to happen for tonight, this is going to be a wild show for your main event tonight.
Oh, absolutely. That was a great first heat to start tonight. Good battling there between James Murphy and Jesse Enterkin, and a good battle there from 3rd, 4th on back, as they were 3 and 4 wide battling for that position as well.
Yes, sir. And heat race number 2, they're reading up now.
Absolutely. Starting lineup for our second heat of the night. Row number 1 is going to be Bryce Dickinson and Desmond Busby. Row 2 is going to be Jesse Main and Evan Say. Row 3 is going to be Daryl Bass and James Rooney. Row 4 is going to have 1 driver. That'll be Mason Setting.
Again, it's another strong field here, as we have Bryce Dickinson leading the field on the pole. And right now we still have a fairly decent track where these drivers can put the car anywhere on the track here.
Absolutely. You know, Evan Say in that 33 machine, he's going to be looking to get to the front. He's starting on the outside of row number 2 with that 4-car invert, Donnie.
And he's going to be, like I said, he's going to be one to watch. And I think Jesse Main on his inside, he's going to be right there with him. as they got the rolled up green flag coming out of turn number 2 now down the back straightaway. We should be going green flag racing next time around at the Derek's Actions Photo start zone. As they go in turn number 3, led by Bryce Dixon in that 84. He's at the Derek's Action start zone. He's hitting that loud pedal as they're getting the green flag. The 84 is going to lead us down in turn number 1 as the 82 of Desmond is going to take the outside. And as we come down the back straightaway, the 201 of Jesse Main, he's looking down low and battling with the 82 as they come out of turn number 3. And these top 5 drivers.
By side.
Yes, sir. And
Four.
Go ahead, Tyler, on the call.
Still side by side for the second position. Desmond Busby and Jesse Main right there on the rear bumper of Bryce Dickinson ahead. They haven't let him run away. A good run for the 82 machine off of the high side of 2 down the back straightaway. The top 5 cars throw them underneath the blanket here as we just complete lap number 3.
And it seems like these drivers are hitting the wall just a little bit, but that's not messing them up, and we're staying under green as we're halfway through with heat race number 2. It's still been Bryce Dixon at the point with the battle, like you mentioned earlier, between Desmond, Jesse, and Evan Say. And here comes 82 of Desmond running the outside, and Evans looking down. Sorry, that was Jesse looking down low. And this time around, they're going to be getting the popsicle sticks as we have 2 more laps left in this heat race. And we have contact. We had contact between the 201 of Jesse Main and the 33 of Evan Say.
Even with the contact, Main getting the white flag out front, then Busby and Bass, I think, clacked off of one another out of turn 4 as we have just 1 set of corners to go. Jesse Main, Desmond Busby. Main's going to hold him off and win heat number 2. Busby will be second. Darrell Bass is going to round out the podium in this second heat.
And that's very shocking that Evan Say finishes 4th in that race, as we thought he was going to make it to go to the front and win that one. And the rest of your results on the screen now for the viewers at home. And we have heat race number 3, your final heat race for tonight, gridded up now. And for your starting lineup for heat race number 3, we have Brett Grubb in that 99. He's going to start on the pole. Outside of him, it's going to be the 46 of Matthew Selby. Inside row number 2, we have the 10 of Connor New. On his outside, it's going to be Nick Camper in the 23. In row 3, we have Brandon Guyswhite in the 18. And on his outside is going to be Brandon Barnhart in the 101. And rounding off the field for heat race number 3 is going to be Jesse Martin in the 43. Hopefully I didn't butcher any of those names, as I'm not actually on a driver right now. And Tyler, who do you have in this one here for heat race number 3?
I think I want to keep my eye on that driver that's starting on the outside of the front row, Matthew Selby in that number 46 machine. How about you?
And I'm going to go right behind you with that inside row 2 of Connor New. As they're led down the back straightaway by Brett Grubb. Going into turn number 3, they're waiting for that Derek's Actions Photo start zone. It looks like they're there. They're getting the green flag as Brett Grubb takes a good jump there. The 48 machine, or 46, he's looking on the outside there. Pushed up a little bit, hit the outside wall in turn number 2 as Connor New is going to take over second right behind Brett Grubb.
Yeah, unfortunate there for Selby in the 46. Got a little high, brushed the outside wall, and lost 4 positions. New, Camper, and Guyswhite all moved forward there in that 18 machine, as here comes the 23 of Camper to the outside of Guyswhite in the 18.
And Camper has that outside line going as they're running side by side there for a little bit, and he just pushes it just a little bit too high, it seems like, on some runs. As we're watching Nick Camper, it looks like we're going to have a battle up front between the Connor New and Brett Grubb. As we're taking the halfway point, the 10 of Connor New is hitting that outside wall as he enters turn number 1. He's still getting that momentum on the back straightaway. He's been running the high side this whole race as Brett Grubb is running more of a mid-top lane. Here comes Connor New down low throwing a slide job on Brett Grubb. Brett Grubb's going to do a crossover here as they come down the back straightaway. We're side by side battling out for the lead with the 29 of Brett Grubb. He's going to do a slide job with a crossover. They're getting popsicle sticks as we have 2 laps remaining. And Connor New is going to lead us down the back straightaway. The top 3 are right there on top of each other. And coming out turn number 4 this time around, Connor New is taking the white flag, with Brett Grubb right behind him, and the 18 of Brandon Geiswhite right there as well, as running side by side with Brett Grubb. And as they enter turn number 3 one more time, coming out turn number 4, Connor New is going to take the checkered flag, followed by Brett Grubb, and then Brandon Geiswhite rounds out your top 3. An unfortunate event there on the opening lap for Matthew Selby, starting on the outside pole there.
Yeah, what a wonderful display of racing there in that final heat. Connor New coming away with the checkered flag. Just great battling up front. Awesome show.
Yes, sir. It's been an awesome show from the drop of the green from heat race number 1 all the way through all your heats there. And with these drivers taking the warm-up session now, getting this track broke in, where do you see the racing action going on the track-wise?
Well, it seems like the track's still pretty racy, I believe, Donnie. I mean, drivers are able to run low, they're able to run high. It seemed like as the heat races wore on, a lot more drivers wanted to move up to the top side. But I think, you know, we got a 100-lap feature. You know, the top side's going to get really thin. So if your car is able to work the bottom, I think that's going to be the right place to be come lap 90 for sure.
And kind of speaking from experience here with watching Cedar Lake, to me, Cedar Lake slicks off the fastest in the whole system. And so, like you said, I will agree with you that top is going to go very thin, but if you can get it going up there on the top side, even whenever it gets thin, I feel like you can get the top side going as well. But I don't know if you want to run it because you could hit that outside wall as well.
Absolutely. It's you know, it can pay really good, but it's treacherous up there if a driver slips up just a bit, gets into that outside concrete barrier and damages the race car.
Yes, sir.
Just getting word from race control. This session, they're going to get reset to 20% to start this warm-up, and they were going to run about 3 to 5 minutes of it. So we're coming up on the 3-minute mark shortly, so we'll see exactly how long race control lets the warm-up session roll.
And
tell you what, want to take some time here, maybe talk about a few of the other sponsors we got tonight, a whole host of them. Dirt Series Promotions, the pit road sponsor tonight. You've already talked about Derek's action photos in the start zone. Admin Box sponsored our drivers meeting a little bit earlier. And Third Party Gaming, our green flag sponsor here tonight as well. Night Owl Racing, this is the warm-up session, and they're sponsoring that tonight. Premier Racing setups out there. The Hard Luck Award. Sick Trophies. Going to be giving out a trophy, and the sponsor of the Regal Promotions Esports Awards show come December time. 618 Engraving and Design, the Caution, our fastest lap, and B-Main sponsor, which we did not need tonight. And of course, upcoming here in our grid is going to be Victory Fuel, our 4-wide salute.
And I also want to touch base a little bit on it with outside of the sponsors. Regal Promotions Esports also has merchandise on their website, and go ahead and reach out to regalpromotions.com/shop to get your merchandise today. And Tyler, we have our main event gridded up now. And
absolutely.
Do you want to take it, or you want me to go ahead and take it? That's up to you, man.
I can run us down through the starting grid. That's no problem at all. Row number 1 in the 01 machine is going to be Jesse Interkin and Jesse Main to his outside. Row number 2 is going to be Connor New, and then James Murphy. Row number 3 is going to be Desmond Busby and Brent Grube. Row 4 will be Frankie Thompson and Daryl Bass. Row number 5 tonight is going to be Brandon Geiswhite and Dylan Yeager. Row 6 will be Evan Say and Nick Camper. Row number 7 tonight, going to be Tyler Bowman and Bryce Dickinson. Row 8, Matthew Selby, Dalston Rutherford. Row number 9 will be Mason Setting and Brandon Barnhart. Row 10 will be Ty Dickinson and James Rooney, and the final row tonight will have one driver. That'll be Jason Martin.
Yeah, kind of like what we've been mentioning since the top of the broadcast here. We have a strong field, and it's anyone's event to win here tonight. The winner's going to take home $150.
Absolutely. As a driver, you know, both of us are drivers as well as broadcasters and commentators. You know, anytime you get to race for a prize of money in sim racing is really fun and challenging. And, you know, the 100 or I believe maybe, yeah, $100 to win tonight, that's got to feel good when you cross that line for the checkered flag. Go ahead, Donnie. Here comes the green.
And it looks like the pace truck's pulling off, and we're going to go green flag racing as Jesse is going to lead us down the front straightaway into turn number 1. Connor New is going to look down low as he's coming out turn 2. He's going to lead us down the back straightaway. Going in turn number 3 down low. He's pushing up, and he's going to come out turn number 4 and lead lap number 1. I thought we were going to do the 4 wide salute, and I think you did too. So Jesse's looking up on the outside lane there, and the 201 of Jesse Main right there. Battle of the Jessies for second, and farther back now we have Desmond looking down low, battling it out for third with Jesse Main as Busby's getting that low side going, and right behind him is going to be the 33 of Evan Say. It's going to be your top 5 right now as we're watching the battle for fourth between Evan Say and Jesse Main. And it looks like Evan Say is going to take over that 4th position momentarily, and he's getting that low side going as the 82's right there in front of him holding on to your 3rd position.
Absolutely, the 48 just behind that group there, Donnie, of Dylan Yeager, up 4 spots early on. Mason Setting in the 110 plus 7 so far as he's rolling the bottom through 1 and 2.
And to do these early moves, it could be dangerous, but with 100 laps, I think that these drivers are going to be good. Now, we have contact between Evan Say and the 201 of Jesse Main, as Evan Say is going to take over still your 4th, and the 48 of Dylan Yeager is going to move into the top 5, as Connor News is kind of separating himself from the rest of the field, as he has about a full second gap on Jesse in that 01 or in the 25 machine here.
Absolutely, Connor New about a second out, like you said, but if you can get out there out front, Donnie, I believe you can put a little gap between yourself and the field, and you might be able to dial back the pace and save a little bit of tire, hopefully.
Yeah, and you got that clean air up there in the front of the field as well, so hopefully he should be able to clean off or save some tire.
Uh-oh, one car slow on the outside wall.
And I believe that was Brandon Barnhart, if I'm not mistaken.
It looks like it.
And we're going to go take a look at what happened there. And apparently that's not the right button. As we go take a look at Brandon Barnhart, he got contact by the 48 machine. And these cars, you take a little bit of damage, or a light contact on the outside there, and he broke his right front tire. I believe that was, I don't know who he was running with side by side there.
It looked like it had the 46 on the side, but I don't think that was right.
That's what I see.
Might have been Selby. I think Selby in the 46.
And that's going to bring out our first caution of the night. We've got 11 laps down here. And going to bunch up the field once again. And like you mentioned earlier, Evan Say, he's been on the move. He's plus 7 spots. And Mason's setting is +7 as well, as they're both your hard chargers. We're getting the rolled up green flag, as we're going to go green flag racing next time around. The field is still led by number 10 of Connor New.
Connor New, Jesse Endergan, Devin Busby, Evan Say, your front two rows. Pace truck's gonna stab the cast, get out of the way. Connor New hits the loud pedal, green flag back in the air. Now 11 laps complete of the 100, a long way to go, Donnie, as they're 3 wide for the 4th spot.
And we got that action right here on the screen for you. And I believe that's going to be Evan Say taking the outside, trying to take over your 3rd position over Desmond Busby, as Busby's getting that low side going as they enter turn number 1. Evan Say's right up there on the outside cushion there. And he's going to take over your 3rd position. The 48 of Dylan Yeager is right behind him and following suit and making a move on Desmond Busby and taking over your 4th position, the 201. And we're going to be 3 wide there for, I thought we were going to be 3 wide there for just a little bit for your battle for 4th. And we take a look at Dylan Yeager as he's trying to get that middle groove going there. And turn 1, we're going to have another caution flag come out. I believe that was Frankie Thompson.
Yeah, it sure was. He got tangled up with the, I can't tell if that's the 98 on the side of that race car. It's a purple number. They kind of came together out of 2 down the back straightaway there. I think that was Thompson and Bass.
And Thompson's going to be in the pit lane as he's pulling off the pits now. And Tyler, seems like that top side is coming in pretty strong, but you still have that bottom side going as we're only 15 laps into this event.
Yeah, absolutely. So far, the top side seems to be king early on. I know we're just 14 laps complete. You can definitely see how much rubber the middle part of the racetrack has taken. We've seen, as I was looking through the field, some drivers using the bottom. So as these laps continue to click away, we'll see how it affects where these drivers choose to run.
And they're coming down the back straightaway as they're going to take the green flag next time around. Enter turn number 3 at that Derek's action start zone, taking the green flag. And Connor New is going to be leading us down the front straightaway. And he's going to go to the top side early on. We have contact back there with Jesse hitting the outside wall. And Evan Say is going to take over your 2nd position as he goes down low in turns 3 and 4. And Jesse's going to get that outside going and make a move there for 2nd. We're going to have a battle for 2nd on the screen between the 33 of Evan Say and the 25 of Jesse Erkin.
Yeah, we got 3 wide battle back here inside the top 10. Brent Group, Tyler Bobin, Matthew Selby, Nick Camper, James Murphy. 3 wide, and they've been that way for the past 3 or 4 laps. It's the restart.
Yeah, we're going back there and taking a look at it now as well, if you want to go ahead and keep calling that one there, Tyler.
Yeah, James Murphy, the 65, all the way down on the inside. The 46 of Selby's been working the middle. Then Camper in the 23 machine has moved to the top, but he moves down a little lower underneath Selby. Selby wasn't expecting it. There was contact there. They drag race into turn 1. Camper now on the inside, Selby on the outside. Just behind them, it's 3 wide. James Murphy, Bryce Dickinson, Jason Martin for a moment. Now they're going to try it again, I think, out of 4. Oh, heavy contact. The 20 or the 43 of Jason Martin into the outside wall. The car came to rest up there, and he had to tow instantly into the work area there for our 3rd caution, Donnie.
And we're going to go take another look at what happened there. And then we're on board watching the 23. It looks like he lagged out just a little bit, and he has that outside wall. And that's what it most likely was, that he lagged out and hit that outside wall and spun her around and instantly towed. And we got racing all around, and we're not even a quarter way through your main event here tonight. Looks like we have another car making its way down pit road for a repair there. As Dylan Jurgens comes out of the pits as well. The field is still going to be led by Connor New in the 10. On his outside is going to be Jesse in that 25. The 33 of Evan Say is going to be on the inside row number 2. And on his outside is going to be the 82 of Desmond Busby. We have another car coming back out on the track. As we come down the back straightaway, we're going to go green flag racing next time around. As you see that pace truck hit so that loud pedal to try to get out of the way, and Connor New hits that loud pedal as well as he's coming around the front straightaway. He's on the outside, and back behind him, Evan Say is getting that bottom side going. For your for your third position, Evan Say is going to be in third with Busby in fourth. So it looks like we still have a battle here. Right out inside your top 10 between Brett Grubb, Matthew Selby, and Tyler Bowman. They're 3 wide just for a little bit there. And everyone seems like they're going to the top side for a little bit. And we're going to have contact, looks like, with one of the Dixonsons and the 23 of Nick Camper. And that's going to be for the 9th position.
From what I've seen, if you're in about the 9th position on back, it is a dogfight back here as the drivers are fanned out across the racetrack. They're running side by side, sometimes 3 wide as the yellow displayed once again.
It looks like it might have been a 3-car pileup between James Rooney, Brandon Barnhart, and Frankie Thompson. As we're going to go and watch James Rooney. He's going to be on the outside turn 2, and yes, that's exactly what happened. Is all 3 of them made contact and ended up breaking on that back straightaway as they broke their right fronts, it looks like.
Yeah, so far, Donnie, the outside there coming out of turn 2 seems to be a trouble spot. We've had 2 similar incidences where the drivers just all seem to come together tight out of turn 2, trying to get up to that outside wall, let the car kind of naturally drift up there, and then contact's made and causing an incident.
And just like all Regal Promotions esports events, there's no mirror for these drivers, just like real life, and sometimes they get used to having that mirror and know there's a car on the outside without using their sounds.
Yeah, if you're in the sim and you're used to running with a mirror, I'm a driver's used to running with a mirror, so if I load into one of these events, it makes it really difficult for me to know my surroundings because I'm used to always trusting that mirror and knowing exactly where I am on the racetrack compared to the other drivers. So it is something different if you've never experienced it before.
And we're about to go green flag racing again. Tyler, go ahead and take this one if you want on the start.
I'd love so. Connor New, Jesse Enterkin will be the front row. The pace lights. Oh. I was way behind, my bad. I was not live on the screen as we are underway. Connor New, Jesse Enterkin, Desmond Busby, the top 3 as C looks down to the bottom out of turn 4 this time. They're still going to be side by side as they enter turn number 1, and the 5th spot's going to be Jesse Main, then Brent Grubb in the 29 with Selby in the 46 machine in 7th. C's looking down to the inside of Busby here, Donnie.
Oh, they had a lot of traffic trying to pull off into the pits as well, and that's not going to play a factor there. They're running side by side for your top 3 there, or for your 3rd position between C and Busby. They've been running side by side since the drop of the green on this last restart. As I believe C is probably going to find something down low, as he's the first car in line to break down to the bottom. And if he finds it, he should have clean air before the other 3 find it down there. And as soon as I say that, Evan C is going to go to the high side in turn 1 and 2. And these top 5... Go ahead, Tyler.
Yeah, so far, this top line, we've talked about it so far up to this point, has been the dominant line. You're seeing a little bit of contact. These drivers are running that ragged edge up there and just barely getting to that outside wall. Still making good lap time, these top 5, but nobody has found good speed down low as of yet.
As we go back through the field, The top 6 drivers are running the top side. Then we have Matthew Sub. We're going to have another caution come out here, and I believe that's going to be on Dylan Yeager. As you see, he's stopped there on the front straightaway, and we're going to go take another look at what happened there. And it looks like might have had contact somewhere and broke his left front tire. And just parks it there on the front.
Yeah, Yeager and Bass made contact coming out of turn 2 once again. It looked like Yeager was on the outside, Bass was on the inside, and Bass let the car come up the hill. Yeager was there, and it just squeezed him into the outside wall. And his right front was broke originally, but then he ended up with no front steering after the contact with Bass.
And we're not even halfway through yet. And like you said on the last time there, this top line is getting going. It's getting very, very thin so far, as Connor New is going to lead us in turn number 1 as they're taking the rolled up green flag, as we're going to go green flag race the next time around. He's coming down the back straightaway. We have 2 drivers getting a wave around, it looks like, as they're trying to rush in front of the field, so we might get this waved off, and we're not going to get it waved off as Connor New is going to hit the loud pedal and get going. The lap traffic is going to be probably play a factor here, as lap traffic's right in front of them. And we're going to have Jesse on the outside. Evan Say is going to be in third. We're going to have lap traffic right there. We're going to follow this with Connor New, as Connor New goes on the outside. That's what was throwing me off there, as I didn't realize that there was lap traffic there. And the lap traffic's going to go on the inside and not play a factor for your top 3, as they got around them pretty easy there. And that lap traffic is staying down low, out of the way, maintaining their line.
Absolutely, if you're a leader, that's what you want to see from lap traffic. Just stay low. But it kind of a discombobulated restart there with the wave arounds literally passing the leaders as we get the green flag. So a little bit unfortunate for the drivers getting the wave, but nonetheless, we're still under the green flag. 37 of 100 laps complete. Connor New, Jesse Interkin, Evan Say, the top 3.
And with that lap traffic, the 79 of Tyler Bowman, he's going to be on the low side and get stuck behind the lap traffic as well, as he's going to finish out your top 10. He's found his way up to the top around him, and most of these drivers are kind of maintaining their line around them and using them as a pick move, so to speak, to make a pass there. And we're going to have another caution come out for tonight's event. And I believe that one's going to be on Brandon Geiswhite. As we go take a look at it there with the 18 of Brandon Geiswhite. He's running that middle line, and Dickinson was up there, and looks like Geiswhite just pushed up a little bit right there in front of one of the Dickinsons and brought out the caution there.
Absolutely, and guess what, Donnie? It happened again out of turn number 2.
And I'm gonna take a wild guess here. And I think the next caution flag that we get is going to happen in turn number 2.
It's a very, very good chance that it just might. It just seems like the way the cars exit there, if you're in the middle part of the racetrack, you just want to let the car get to the outside wall kind of naturally on its own on exit to not pinch it off. But if somebody happens to be there or gets the good run off of the top, they end up being right there on the outside. The contact happens, and there's the yellow.
Yes, sir. If we did betting, that's where I'd actually put my money at, is on that turn 2, is what I'm basically getting at on this one. So, and this time around we shouldn't have any lap traffic, as they're getting the rolled up green flag. We're going to go green flag racing next time around. Connor New is going to lead us in turn number 1 with the 25 on his outside of Jesse. Row number 2 is going to be the 33 of Evan Say, and on his outside is going to be the 201 of Jesse Main. As we're going into turn number 3, Connor News leading the field. He's hitting that loud pedal as we're going to go green flag racing once again. And here comes Jesse looking on the inside of turn number 1, as we're going to be battling for the lead. As Jesse got a good jump there on the bottom as they come out turn number 4, with Jesse in that 25 machine battling for second, as Evan Say is finally getting that bottom side going a little bit better than the recent laps in turn 3 and 4 there. Sorry, that was 1 and 2. And it looks like the top 4 kind of running that top side, and we have Busby running that bottom side all around on both sides of the track.
Absolutely, it looks to be the brave soul that's decided to run down low. Hasn't really lost much time, hasn't gained much either, as he still runs underneath the 201 machine of Maine. Kind of just holding steady, not moving forward or back, and he's going to continue in the 5th spot. Then you got Brent Grubb, then James Murphy in the 7th spot. 8th is Matthew Selby, Nick Camper, 9th Tyler Bowman rounds out the top 10.
And you said it earlier today, like that cusp of breaking into the top 10, that's where the gloves have been off all night. They've been running side by side and kind of leaning on each other throughout the rest of the, compared to the rest of the field, as we're looking for at the 79 and the 48 here. I believe the 48 might be a few laps down. And that's going to be Dylan Yeager, as I believe he is actually laps down as he's sitting 17th. We're going to go back towards the front of the field. It's been the Connor News show since the drop of the original green, as he has a 1.25 second gap on Jesse here in on the 25 machine.
Evan C's continuing to run in the 3rd spot, 1.7 seconds back now, moving to the inside. He's been searching around. I've been watching the past couple laps, trying the bottom, trying the top, running the middle as well, just seeing what's out there. But single file really for the first, 6 or 7. James Murphy took a peek to the inside of Brent Grubb. He's in the 7th spot, but nothing doing down low for James in the 65.
And we're going to be halfway through with your main event here. And again, we're watching that 65, like you mentioned. He's getting that, trying to get that bottom side going, and it's just not him. It seems like everyone can't get the bottom side going. The top side is dominant so far. And I've seen, as you're calling it earlier, with James Murphy looking down low, I've seen Evan say he's looking down low every once in a while. He's running about a car length lower than Jesse, and trying to figure out a way to get around him, as we're going to see all these drivers kind of start moving around and not worry about tires anymore as we're in the final 50 laps of this race.
Yeah, absolutely. Interkin and Say still battling side by side, now 1.8 seconds back of Connor New. I think Say might be a little better than Interkin, just unable to get completely around him. They're still going to work side by side. They're battling for 4th now. Jesse Main, Devin Busby, that 201 and the 82 machines. The 201 on the outside, the 82 on the inside, and then a little further back, Selby, Grubb, and Murphy were 3 wide, it looked like for a moment. Almost contact between Murphy and Grubb in the 99 machine.
And I was watching that 3 wide there for a little bit, not touching each other or anything. That was good racing there between those 3. And we go back up here to the front again for second. Evan Say and Interkin, they've been running side by side since the drop of the green for this last restart. And Interkin's been getting that high side going. And I would have to agree with you there, Tyler. Say is getting that bottom side going better than what we've seen so far tonight from anyone else. And lap traffic's going to play a factor here, most likely, as lap traffic's going to run that bottom side. Say is going to have to go up top just a little bit. They're going to be 3 wide with the lap traffic just momentarily, and Say is getting that bottom side going in turns 3. As we
Say's been working over the bottom, just hasn't quite been able to materialize enough of a run to get by Interkin on the outside. And they're continuing to run side by side for the 2nd position.
And we only have 40 laps left in this event, roughly. Or I guess under 40 laps now. So that bottom side should be coming in a little bit better, I would say, within the next 15 laps or so is what my guess is.
As Connor New in the 10 machine, he's now caught the back of the pack. He's right behind Mason Martin, and I think Brandon Geiswhite's right there as well. Mason's setting, Daryl Bass, he's got to get through the thick of it as they were all bunched together. He works by Martin, puts him 1 lap down, trying to get by Geiswhite now in the 18.
And Connor New has a 2.5 second gap on Interkin and Say back there, as those two have been running side by side, and they continue to run side by side. Do you push the issue and try to get that lap traffic in between you and the second place position, knowing that you are 2.5 seconds ahead of second?
You know, in this situation, I think maybe so. You put some distance between yourself and those guys, put a couple cars in there, and we've seen up to this point, passing has been a premium. You know, so if you're able to work by some of these lappers and, you know, put them between yourselves and the guys running second and third, it might work to your advantage. And Connor New's doing a pretty good job, you know, taking his time, not getting overly aggressive, but, you know, the lappers know he's there, and he's just trying to put them 1 lap down. Battling Mason, Setting into 110. Setting does not want to give up that lead lap position as of yet.
And staying in the traffic here with Connor New, he's still maintaining that 2.5 second gap on Jesse Interkin. And Interkin's finally pulled away just a little bit off of Evan Say there, as they're not running side by side. I believe because they were going through the lap traffic, Say kind of went up to the high side and tucked in right behind Interkin there. And as soon as I say that, here comes Say looking down low. Again, as there's a lap track right in front of him, that could have been dangerous right there.
Absolutely. These two will not leave each other alone. Interkin just wants to stay up top and run his line. Say is wanting to move down low and try to get around, but still have not been able to materialize a run down on the bottom part of the racetrack. They now find themselves still about 2.5 seconds back. That gap has stabilized as Connor New is working through the lap traffic. He's got Daryl Bass and I believe Dalston Rutherford right there in front of him, and Tyler Bowman as well.
And Say's...
One car right in front of the leader just drove right into the pit area. I thought he was going to crash, but he just entered the pits at a high rate of speed.
Oh, okay. And it looks like Evan Say finally took over that second position, and that bottom side is coming in a little bit better. I've been watching Interkin here in turn 1 and 2. He's been hitting that outside wall and scrubbing some of his time down just a little bit. And that's what's caused Evan Say to get over into that second position, as we have 25 laps remaining in this event, as we're the 3/4 down.
Yeah, had a long green flag run here, and Say has now complete the pass on Interkin contact with the 18 machine of Geiswhite as he puts him behind him, and now Interkin's got to find his way by. But Say starting to eat into that advantage just slightly, picking up about 1/10.5 or so in the past few laps.
And I believe Say can get through the traffic. Say's will probably see a caution flag come out, so that way they can stack back up. And Connor New does not want to see that come out.
New slides across the nose of Rutherford there into 1 and just made a little contact with the outside wall. Rutherford trying to do the crossover move and get back by him. New's going to be strong on the outside and put Rutherford that 1 lap down. He's lapped up to the 11th position now. And Say, as we take a peek back there with him, he is in a crazy battle with a car more than 1 lap down. I think that's James Rooney down there. He puts Mason Setting behind him now. He's trying to get by the 90 machine of Daryl Bass.
And Say's been able to get through this lap traffic pretty smooth here, and I've been watching the time. It's gone anywhere from a 1.5 second to a 2 second gap from Connor New. It seems like whenever he gets a little bit of run, he's slowly reeling in Connor New here.
Yeah, now they both have a little bit of track position in front of him, behind them, and the gap somewhat stabilizing, but Connor New is going to be running up on the back of the 84 of Bryce Dickinson. Nick Camper is in front of him as well, and Evan Say is coming up on a side-by-side battle.
See that Evan Say kind of let off just a little bit so that way he didn't get taken out in that side-by-side battle. They're still side-by-side right beside him. They make contact. Evan Say just threw it into the turn, it looked like, so that way he could stay off of him.
Absolutely. Works by one of them, putting the other one behind him now. It's going to get back to work as Connor New is looking underneath the 84 of Bryce Dickinson and now the 23 of Nick Camper. A little bit of contact there. Bryce Dickinson, I think, got into the outside wall, and you got to be careful because he about run underneath of Connor New. You don't want to take out the leader here, Donnie.
No, you're not at this point. And we're going to have Nick Camper hit that outside wall in turn 2 and do it right in front of the leader. And I thought he was going to turn down again as Connor New is going to look on the inside of turn 1, and that's going to be Nick Camper running 9th as puts him a lap down. We're going to have 8 drivers on the lead lap here.
Absolute craziness. Connor New has set a torrid pace, and we've had a long green flag run. 88 laps complete, 12 to go, and the gap stands at 1.5 seconds between Connor New and Evan Say. Say's got to work around these two that Connor New just put a lap down. He's got to do that as quickly as possible, and then there's some open track in front of him. And
as soon as you say that, Say gets around Dickinson there on the back straightaway. There's open track between the two drivers. I can see Say closing in the gap here as we're 10 laps remaining in the event here.
Yeah, for sure. Now they both have the open track. New trying to hold on to the advantage. Say trying to chew away at it ever so slightly each and every lap. This time around, Connor New was a 14:40. Evan Say was a 14:40. Identical lap times from the top two drivers.
And I think with New going around the lap traffic, he's found that bottom side as well. He's looking on the outside in 1 and 2, as I believe Say is running the bottom side in 1 and 2. And as Connor New goes into turns 3 and 4, he's running that bottom to mid line as he comes down the front straightaway. And he's going to have lap traffic running side by side right in front of him, as that's going to be, I believe that's going to be Brett Grubb and the 67 of Ty Dickinson. As Connor New goes on the outside of Ty Dickinson. And Tyler, do you want to take us home as we're coming out of turn number 4 with 5 laps remaining?
Yeah, absolutely. Connor New now trying to get around the Brent Grubb machine that's just in front of him. Going to take a peek to the inside down the back straightaway and try to get by into 3, but Grubb going to battle there on the outside. That's going to scrub a little bit of speed. New probably just wants him to settle in behind him and wants to see the clear track in front, but Connor New now running up on the lap machine of James Rooney, going to take a peek down low on him. Meanwhile, Evan Say behind him has some open track, and now just 1.1 seconds separate the top two as we about have 2.5 laps to go. Connor New going to use the bottom. We have one car slow on the outside line. The tire is off. Are we going to stay green? I think we are.
I believe that.
No, the yellow flag.
I thought the car towed fast enough to get out of off the track.
That changes everything.
This should be a green-white checker finish here. And here we thought everything was getting interesting, but now it's going to be very interesting. We're going to have, I believe it's what, 8 drivers on the lead lap here?
Yeah, it looks like eight drivers are scored on the lead lap. You know, this is going to bunch things back up.
And
Connor New probably had the win there, you know, because he had the big advantage. But now, with this thing bunching back together with the money on the line, anything's going to happen here, I believe.
And it should be a single file restart as well. And that was on Darrell base. And you'll never guess what he did there. He pushed up a little bit coming out of turn number 2, hit that back straightaway wall, and another driver was right there to kind of rode up a little bit and finished him off into the back straightaway wall there. And we called it as well, saying that that's probably where the next wreck was going to happen at.
Yeah, absolutely. Turn 2 has been the trouble spot all night long.
And as I take a look at it, that was your 3rd place car that was right there with the 16 of Darrell Bass And luckily, Busby didn't damage his car as he's in the top 3.
It looks like we're getting some waiver rounds. Mason Setting working by in the 110. A little bit of the order with some issues back there. One car gets spun around, Tyler Bowman, as they were trying to get lined up for the restart. Unsure of the confusion, but they were, running side, and they're still running side by side back there. Unsure of what the running order needs to be. That's back there 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th.
I see him being 3 wide back there as well.
Well, the lights are out on the pace truck. It accelerates. Field is in the hands of Connor New. He gets on the gas. Green flag in the air. 2 more times around the Cedar Lake Speedway. $100 to win. Say down on the bottom. New up on top. They're side by side with a little bit of contact. New's going to slam the door shut on the Say as they enter turn 3. Say's right on the rear bumper. White flag waving. Whatever happens, we are going to finish this race under green. Say with the big move down the inside. Almost contact, but Connor New with the advantage on the momentum on the outside and out of turn number 4 in round number 1. Connor New wins tonight the Shamrock 100. Evan Say will be second. Third is going to go to Desmond Busby in the 82 machine. Wow, what a finish, Donnie.
Man, that was one heck of a finish there. One great show here. As always, Regal Promotions puts on great shows, and the drivers that enter the races also put on the great show. I'm over here shaking and sweating just by that finish, though, watching Evan Say get that bottom side going. I thought they were going to take each other out as they were coming out of turn number 2, but you see that Say kind of pinched the car off coming out of turn number 2 there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Fantastic battling from Connor New and Evan Say in the final closing laps there. Say throwing the haymaker through 1 and 2. Connor New just keeping his foot in it on the outside and able to power back around and play the defensive line through 3 and 4 for the final time.
And as we wait for the drivers for their interviews tonight, to finish out the rest of your unofficial results here, Matthew Selby finishes 4th. Jesse Interkin moves back to 5th. He was running up there in the top 3 for the majority of the race there. James Murphy moves up to 6th. Brett Grubb in 7th. Jesse Main finishes 8th. Dylan Yeager in 9th. And rounding out your top 10 is going to be Dalston Rutherford. And then in 11th was Bryce Dickinson. Tyler Bowman in 12th. Mason Setting in 13th. Brandon Guyswhite in 14th. Nick Camper in 15th. Darrell Bass finishes 16th. And Ty Dixon in 17th. James Rooney finishes in 18th. And 19th was Jason, and 20th was Frankie Thompson, and rounding off the field tonight is going to be Brandon Barnhart. And Tyler, first we're going to hear from Desmond Busby, and I'll let you go ahead and take those questions with him that you have for his interviews here.
All right. Hey, Desmond, it's Tyler and Donnie up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, man. You come home tonight, top 3 finish. You improve a little bit in the feature. 100 laps there. The track slicked off quite a bit. It looked like the top line really was king, and the bottom didn't come in until super late, or at least, provided a challenge to the people running the top super late. As that race progressed on, lap traffic came into play. What was the game plan starting out tonight? And did you have to make any changes to it mid-race? And, how difficult was it to make moves around here?
Yeah, it was pretty rough. I mean, my game plan going into it was obviously, just take care of my tires. I was just going to coast around the bottom. But like you said early on, they started running the top. And I just didn't know if it was too soon to move up yet, because we were still like 30, 40 laps in. So I didn't know if it was too soon or not. But for the most part, though, I just try to run the bottom and just obviously take care of my stuff. And when I had to move up, obviously I did, so I didn't lose too many positions. But um, I thought I was just gonna end up on the top the rest of the race, but I kind of got that bottom groove going, and I was following Evan there for a little bit, and I felt pretty good there. So just try to hope for the best, and I was hoping it held on, which it held on pretty good there.
Yeah, absolutely. It sure did. You come away with the top 3 in round number 1 here at the Shamrock 100. And you take home a little bit of money tonight. That's got to feel good.
Oh yeah, I just signed up today because I've been sick the last 2 weeks, so I wanted something to do. So I seen this was going on tonight, and I'm like, I'll just give it a shot, see what happens.
Absolutely. Donnie, you have anything for Desmond?
Yeah, I'm going to ask you a few questions here. You're saying about tire saving and everything earlier, so it's kind of a piggyback question on that one. When did you know that it was go time, that I'm not going to save anything, I'm going to lay it all out on the line at that point?
Well, I kind of never really know when it's go time, but usually I set like a certain lap, like when we get around there, like usually when I go into 100 lappers, I try to, you know, at least go by like lap 50, lap 60. So, the last 40 laps, it's just all out. But there's never really like a certain time when, it's time to go, unless you're just getting desperate for positions. But yeah.
And it's been fun watching you race tonight. Again, like Tyler said, you take home $50 tonight for finishing third, and for you being sick and just coming out here, you put on one hell of a show for the viewers here.
Yeah, I tried. My foot's all cramping up because I haven't even ran a 100 lapper. And it's been longer than 2 weeks. So this has actually been my first pretty long feature race. It's been a few months. So happy to still see I still got something left in the tank.
And Tyler, do you have any more questions for Busby here?
No, I guess last and certainly not least, Desmond, before we let you go tonight, anybody you need to thank for the effort?
Yeah, I just got to thank my team JER. Sorry, it's been a minute. My team JER, Majula Speed Shop, for helping me with setup. I haven't even been on the test or nothing, but I already loaded something in, and we ran pretty good. So big thanks to them. Brooks Motorsports, MO Performance, Dakota Sim Graphics for their app, Jonathan DeVries, you guys for broadcasting, Andrew Regal for putting this on, and all the sponsors who pitched in. Just thanks everyone.
And again, you couldn't do it without your sponsors. Again, congratulations as well for your third place finish here tonight, and hopefully we catch you for the next late model series round number 2.
Yep, for sure. Thank you guys.
Yep. Thank you, sir. Have a good night, man.
You too.
And your second place finisher, Evan Say, we're about to hear from him, as he missed that hard charger spot just by 2, I believe, because I believe Matthew Selby is your hard charger tonight, moving up 11 spots. Is that what you're seeing as well, Tyler?
Yeah, at least on my end, I see Selby plus 11 on the night, 15th to 4th. Fantastic effort from him.
All right, we're going to hear from Evan Say here. And Evan, this is Donnie and Tyler in broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Fantastic show tonight for moving up to your nine spots there. You're the only driver that was really running the bottom side. What were you finding down there?
Oh yeah, kind of laying off bottom usually works pretty good here when it's slick, and it's mainly just went down there to try and save a little bit of tires, see if I can get the Connor at the end. He seemed pretty committed to the top, so I figured, running around the top, I was gonna be hard to pass him or even Jesse, just because when you throw a slider, you lose a ton of momentum. So just felt pretty good down there. I found a good rhythm, and was just hoping to save a little bit and maybe catch Connor in lap traffic. And then the yellow came out and just we tried to get him there, and I was afraid to kind of throw the slider that last lap and put him in the walls because you have no grip, and I didn't want to do that. But it's still a good race, and I was happy he was able to at least come up to P2 there.
And taking home $75 for finishing second. You kind of hit my next question there. Most of the cautions were coming out of turn 2 for all of the cautions, I would say almost. And on that last restart, you're pushing up. It looked like you pinched the car off a little bit so that way you can kind of stay off of them. Is that what you're doing there?
Oh yeah, I mean, we got no mirrors in this league, so it's you kind of just have to go off instincts if you think you're going to clear someone or not. And now I was coming off the bottom of 4 trying to throw the slider, so I didn't have a whole lot of momentum there to make sure I was going to clear. And if how slick it is, it's if it's 50-50, it's also your teammate. You don't really want to kill him, so I left him just enough to come off the top there if I wasn't clear. And he hit the top and 1 and 2 pretty good and pulled me down the back stretch. But I mean, that's what you got to do. If it's running with no mirrors, you definitely have to make sure you're clear and stuff like that, because you can put somebody in the wall and it can damage your car too. So but I mean, like I said, I think we had top 5 tonight for CFM cars, so congrats to all those guys. And I was definitely glad to get a run tonight.
And Tyler, do you have any questions for Evan Say here?
I don't think I really have anything, Donnie. You covered everything I was going to ask him. But before we let you go tonight, Evan, anybody you need to thank?
Yeah, just all the guys at Agility Speed Shop, CFM Esports. Like I said, we had I think 1 through 5 tonight, so congrats to all those guys and work they put in to be fast. And this guy ain't tied through defense, shotfurry22.com. Sweet victory, Captain Morgan. And everybody helped put on this league and money race for us. And just thank you guys for broadcasting.
Absolutely, Evan. Well, we certainly appreciate you getting a word in with us tonight. Congratulations on the top 3.
Yeah, thank you.
And now we get to hear from your winner tonight of Connor New. And he led it since the drop of the green. He led all 100 laps there. And Connor, do you have a copy?
Yes, sir.
And Tyler, I'm going to go ahead and let you ask the questions since I took your questions last time, man.
All right, Connor. Well, we come to the close. You got the checkered flag here in round number 1 of this late model series with Regal Promotions Esports. You take home $100 tonight. You led a ton of laps, had to work through the lap traffic, use the outside, use the inside when you needed to. Then we get the late caution, and I'm sure the gasp of air came out as you didn't want to deal with a restart, but you did, and you did so perfectly. You had the challenge from Evan Say there, coming out of turn number 2 on the last lap, but you used the momentum on the outside to retake the lead and come home with a checkered flag here in round number 1. Man, that's got to feel good.
Yeah, our car was really good. Thanks to everybody at my Agility Speed Shop. I was kind of just trying to ride around there and save a little bit of tire, but stay in the lead because I knew track position would mean a lot. And we had a lot of yellows there at first, and we all got spread out on that one yellow, so I started pushing it a little bit, trying to get me a good lead and get through those lap cars good. And we didn't want to see that caution at the end, but we did, and luckily we held on.
Yeah, absolutely, Connor. A fantastic effort coming away with that checkered flag here tonight. Donnie, you have anything?
I have no questions for you, but I know that you have some sponsors, so go ahead and let's hear who you need to recognize here on your car.
Like I said, this thing was really good, and it always is. Thanks to Agility Speed Shop, Sweet Victor Apparel, Tag 3 Defense, CI Performance, just everybody that helps us out on this thing and help us get fast.
All right, Connor. Certainly appreciate you getting a word in here with us tonight. We'll let you celebrate that big victory.
So thank you.
And Tyler, that's going to bring a conclusion for tonight's events here. As
Yeah.
we are going to be, the next Regal Promotion show is going to be on the 23rd for the Grand Prix Series. That's going to be Sunday the 23rd. It's going to be live on Regal Promotions Esports. And I believe you have a race on Monday over on your Buckeye Racing Network.
Yeah, absolutely. Monday night for Regal Promotions Esports is the doubleheader. 7 p.m. Eastern Time is the 305 Sprint Car Series. Looks like $5 going to go to the winner there. We are at the Lincoln Speedway this week. Remember, the 305s are fixed sets, free entry, a 3,500 iRating cap. And then I'm going to have the coverage of the 360 Sprint Series, $10 to win that one. Sweet Tea Gang is the sponsor for both of those events, the 305s and 360s. So yeah, we going to have some fun Monday night at 8:30. If you all ain't doing anything, come on over. Check out the Buckeye Racing Network. We'd be happy to have you over there.
And then after your race on Monday for the 305s and 360s, we're going to have the prelude to the Purge next Friday on the 28th. That's going to be a fun race to just sit back and watch, as there's not going to be any cautions. That's going to be an endurance race with 60 drivers starting, and it's going to be a 75-lap race there at Charlotte in the street stocks.
Absolutely. I mean, I have not entered into that or anything, but I'll tell you, that sounds pretty fun. No rules and all cars start. What do you think, Donnie?
Man, I've been hounding the fiance to let me race that race. I might race that one as well, but I'm already already registered for the April 1st race in the mini stocks at Lernerville for the same thing here.
Yeah, both of those events will be fun and definitely something to behold. Regal Promotions Esports YouTube's going to have the coverage for both of those events on the 28th and the 1st.
And that should cover the events for the rest of the month here. And do you have any closing remarks about tonight's race? And I'm going to kind of piggyback on your statement there. Watching Evan say reel in Connor New there, or try to reel in Connor New there on the closing laps as he's running the different line than everyone else, and then seeing Connor New go around all the lap traffic, giving respect to the leader and maintaining their line, that was fantastic to see tonight. And it's always good to have Andrew Regal, have both of us, your broadcast over there at Buckeye Racing Network, and my broadcast with Right Rear Racing, to have both of us broadcast his races. And you're welcome over here anytime for any of the Right Rear Racing broadcasts. Yeah, I think we learned it pretty quick and got the show on the road like it should have been. And I think it was probably one of the better coverages. As again, like, this is my first time doing a two-man broadcast here. And thanks for joining in here on Right Rear Racing. We will catch you next time, and also tune in over to the Buckeye Racing Network as well.